I used to think boredom was the worst thing a woman could feel. That slow, dull ache of repetition. Wake up, pack lunches, clean spills, fold laundry, kiss a distracted husband on the cheek while he half listens to your day. I thought that if I didn't escape soon, I would disappear. Fade into the beige walls and sticky countertops and forgotten dinner plans. So I left. I told my husband I needed time. I told my kids I loved them and that mommy was just going on a little journey. I even convinced myself it was brave. Enlightened even. But now, sitting in this cold apartment surrounded by boxes I never bothered to unpack, I wonder if I was ever anything but selfish. My name is Natalie. I'm 36, and this is the story of how I walked away from a life I didn't know I needed and returned to find it gone. My husband, Mark, was stable, dependable, the kind of man who'd never forget to pay a bill or pick up milk. He wasn't flashy. He didn't write me poetry or whisk me away on surprise vacations. But he always warmed up the car in winter and filled up the gas when it was low. He was a good father, too. Patient with our 2 kids, Sophie, age 7, and Liam, age 5. He built pillow forts, read bedtime stories in silly voices, taught them how to ride bikes. Our life was fine. Normal. Which, to me, started to feel suffocating. I'd scroll through social media and see friends doing yoga retreats in Bali, launching Etsy shops, posting motivational quotes about living your truth. Meanwhile, I was Googling crockpot recipes and wiping boogers off the couch cushions. I started to believe I was wasting my potential, that somewhere out there was a better version of me. Unburdened, untamed, inspired. I brought it up gently at first, told Mark I was feeling lost, that I needed to take a class, do something creative. He encouraged it, even signed me up for a weekend writing workshop. But it wasn't enough. I wanted more than a weekend. I wanted out. So one night after the kids went to bed, I told him, I need to go away for a while. Just a few months. To think, to figure out who I am outside of this house. He stared at me for a long time. You mean a trip? I mean space. Time. I want to rent a little place. Maybe take classes, journal, work at a bookstore. I need to breathe. He didn't yell. He didn't beg. He just asked, what about the kids? I'll visit. I'll call. It's not forever. He nodded, but I could see something fracture behind his eyes. A trust, maybe. Or a version of me he thought he knew. I found a tiny apartment 2 towns over. It was furnished, cozy, and quiet. I signed a 3-month lease and promised myself I'd return refreshed and inspired. I bought a stack of self-help books, a new journal, even a yoga mat I never used. For the first few weeks, it felt thrilling, like I'd escaped a cage. I sipped coffee in silence, walked without purpose, read books in bed past midnight. I posted cryptic quotes on Instagram. Sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. People liked them. Some even messaged me, calling me brave. But as the weeks wore on, the novelty faded. The silence turned from soothing to deafening. The book started collecting dust, and my visits home felt more awkward than warm. The kids were polite but distant, like little adults who'd been taught not to ask too many questions. Mark didn't make things harder than they needed to be. He kept it civil, cordial. But there was a coldness to him now, a guardedness. 3 months turned into 4, then 5. I kept extending my lease, telling myself I just needed a little more time. I'd find my spark soon. Any day now. Then one evening, I stopped by the house unannounced. I'd forgotten Sophie's birthday was coming up and wanted to drop off a gift. I walked in through the side door like I used to, and I froze. Mark was in the kitchen. Another woman stood beside him. She was laughing, holding a mixing bowl. Sophie was at the table decorating cupcakes. Liam sat on the counter, licking frosting off a spoon. They looked happy, whole, like I wasn't even missing from the picture. I backed out quietly, drove back to my apartment in a daze, my hands shaking on the wheel. The next morning, I called Mark. Can we talk? He agreed to meet me at a park halfway between our places. He arrived in jeans and a hoodie, his hair a little longer than I remembered. I saw her, I said. He nodded. Her name's Julia. She teaches 3rd grade at Sophie's school. How long? A few months. So that's it? You've replaced me? He looked at me with a mix of pity and disbelief. Natalie, you left. I didn't push you out. I didn't cheat. I held this family together while you were off finding yourself. I cooked, cleaned, did bedtime stories alone. I watched our kids cry for their mom and didn't know what to say. And you want to talk about replacement? I swallowed hard. I didn't mean for it to go this long. I know, but it did. Silence stretched between us. I want to come back, I whispered. He looked away. I filed for divorce last week. The words felt like a punch. I'm sorry, Nat, but I can't go back. I don't trust that you won't leave again. And honestly, the kids are doing okay now. They have a rhythm. I have a rhythm. Julia's been kind. Steady. They like her. She doesn't try to replace you. She just shows up. Every day. Tears blurred my vision. I still love you. He nodded but didn't say it back. That was 6 months ago. The divorce is finalized now. I see the kids every other weekend. They're polite, kind, but guarded. Like they're not sure if I'll disappear again. Julia's still around. She sends me updates sometimes, pictures of the kids at the zoo, school art projects. She's never rude, never oversteps, which somehow makes it worse. I spend most days in the apartment. I never made a home. I tried dating. It felt empty. Tried writing. The words won't come. I scroll through old photos sometimes. Me and Mark in the backyard, laughing over burnt burgers. The kids in matching pajamas, piled on the couch. A version of my life I traded away for freedom that turned out to be loneliness in disguise. Sometimes people still comment on my old Instagram posts. You're so inspiring. I wish I had your courage. If only they knew. Freedom isn't always what it seems. Sometimes the cage is the very thing keeping you grounded. Sometimes the life you think is too small is exactly the right size. I left to find myself, but I didn't realize I'd already been there. In the lunchboxes, the bedtime songs, the sleepy Saturday mornings. Now I'm just a guest in my own story. And I'd give anything to go back.